What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with 15 weeks out physique update of the 212 reigning champion, Keone Pearson. So Keone is being a perfectionist when it comes to maximizing every possible variable that will allow him to successfully defend his title this year. As you guys can see that he is putting in extra effort in the abs workout, even at home, because this is his major strength over Sean Calrida and over everyone else for that matter. So Sean is undoubtedly gonna be the biggest threat to Keone Pearson this year. And Keone's prep just started like a week ago. And just take a look at his current shape. I have to say that is such an unbelievable condition to be in at 15 weeks out of the show. And I don't think any of us see any reason why this won't be Keone's best package ever. So this is the first time in his career he had an entire year just to focus on improvements. Just to focus on only one show, the Olympia. He did not have to make any breaks mid-season, where he had to compete and secure his Olympia spot. And I believe that is going to be the biggest game changer for him in 2024. So Keone's back and his hamstrings in particular, they might be one of the most improved body parts this year, because that is the area where he needed to catch up to Sean, and that back double bicep is that pose that he lost to Sean last year. Because we all know Sean's back double bicep is just out of this world. But Keone on the other hand is really confident that his back is also going to be one of the best this year. So from all the updates that we have seen from Keone so far, I think this is going to be a start of a very dominating reign for Keone at the Olympia. Because if we take Sean out of the equation, we can all agree there is just nobody else out there who can challenge Keone. No one is even remotely close to either Sean or even Keone, at least as of right now. The former 7 times Miss Olympia and one of the greatest of all time, and one of the most decorated bodybuilder in the history of bodybuilding, Heath reveals his current physique at the age of 44. So the man is looking really fit and really healthy. So one thing that you guys might also notice is that when all these IFB pros retire, when these guys come off all the gear, all the PEDs, shoulders are one of those muscle groups that goes away the quickest, along with the legs. So Heath had one of the roundest, most developed delts in the bodybuilding history. And if you guys remember the time when Heath first came onto the scene, many experts at that time said that he is never gonna be Olympia champion because of his narrow clavicles. And the man went on to be the likes of Jay Cutler, Kai Green, Big Ramy, and many others who were genetically so much wider than Phil. And all this because Phil was able to create such an insane illusion with those cap delts. The sheer dominance of Phil is explained by the fact that he was able to win 7 Olympias in a row. And I think most of us can agree that if it wasn't for his stomach problems, he would have won a couple of more Sundowns. But his successful career ended with 7 titles. So undoubtedly one of the greatest of all time. And I'm glad to see him still working very hard, even at the age of 44. And that is a physique that you should be really proud of, because at the age of 44, that is really something. Next up are some crazy looking physique updates of Vlad. So he's certainly not doing Prodigal Pro, and the timeline of the upcoming IB Pro shows, if we take a look at that, it's more than probable that he will be doing the upcoming Chicago Pro. So the Chicago Pro lineup as of right now is very uncertain. So we will see who else shows up there. And I'm not gonna lie, we have been fooled by the updates of Vlad in the past as well. All his looks on the Instagram pictures, that looks so damn good. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't translate on the stage. But if he's actually successful in bringing this look to Chicago Pro, I think he is gonna cause some trouble. He has the size plus he has that grainy looking condition that is mostly dedicated by genetics. And last but not least, Vlad has some insane freak factor as well. And it is actually really shocking how quickly Vlad was able to recover from that tricep tear. Because his own doctors told him that it is gonna take a lot of time to recover and he might not be able to compete anytime soon. But it seems like that he has beaten the odds. I mean, he got injured back in February. And he is already ready to step on the stage in the month of July. So Vlad is limited by his structure, just like Tim Bodisham. He lacks the weight from the front. He has plenty of muscle to match up to most of the guys in the Pro League. But the fact that he has such a wide waist, that really hurts him in all the front shots. So how can Vlad step on the Olympia stage for the 2nd time in his career? So for him to win Chicago Pro, no other big name should enter that show. And that isn't me hating on the man. That is just me keeping it real. So Muhammad Fodda is rumored to be competing at this upcoming Chicago Pro, and the kind of physique that Fodda has at this point, he really isn't missing anything. He is very complete front to back, top to bottom. Plus he is very aesthetic. So if both these guys bring their 100%, I have to say Fodda is gonna win. Next up, I have a classic physique update of a guy who nobody is really talking about, Mike Sommerfield. This guy has placed as high as top 5 at the Olympia, and that was just back in 2022. Last year he dropped down to 8th place, but still that is a great classic physique. So you guys will be shocked to see his current size as he starts his Olympia prep, and the very first thing that comes to mind is how the hell is he gonna make the weight cut off this year? He has put on an enormous amount of size, especially during this offseason. So Mike was really disappointed because he dropped down 3 spots last year. So I'm not really sure what the feedback was given to him by the judges after the Olympia last year. So he was already looking over-dieted at the Olympia last year, and it seems like he's already struggling to make that weight cutoff, and his quads suffer a lot during that weight making process. So the fact that he has added more size to his frame in 2024, that might make things ever more difficult, especially when it's time to make the weight cutoff. I think it might be even difficult for him than last year. So the caliber of competition in classic physique, that just continues to get better and better with every passing year. The kind of talent that we are seeing in classic physique, that is just nuts. So Mike is another one of those guys who can either compete in classic physique or switch over to men's open bodybuilding. There is just no 212 for these guys because they're already above that weight limit. So do let me know what you guys think. Can he find his way back into that top 6 this year? Lastly, we have a few updates from some of the competitors that are going to be on the stage at Van Pro in about 2 weeks time now. So let's start with Tim Bodesham, who hasn't had any success this year so far. And when I mention success, we are strictly speaking him not placing top 3 in any of the shows that he has done so far. So this is going to be Tim's 4th show of the year. His highest placing this year so far has been at Toronto Pro, and that was 5th. Definitely not what Tim was looking for. But as far as this physique is concerned, and his improvements are concerned, this is the best he has ever looked. And let's just appreciate that Tim has brought some hard winning conditioning in all 3 of the shows that he has done this year. So as per Tim Bodesham, he has a new plan this time for Van Pro. So let's see how this new plan works out for him. Next up, we have the 2 weeks of physique update from John Jewett. So now that John is the one who placed 3rd in Toronto Pro, and some people even had him beating Quinton Beastwood in that show, simply because he was in a lot better condition than Quinton. And the judges have also really appreciated his transition from the 212 into the men's open, plus the fact that he placed 2nd at his first ever open bodybuilding show last year, which was Legion Sports. So here at Van Pro, which is going to be his 3rd show in the men's open, he's clearly one of the favorites to win this show. And keep in mind, Vancouver Pro was that show. That was originally announced by John Jewett that this is going to be his 1st show of the year. So I don't think any of us had any complaints about his conditioning even in Toronto, because he was absolutely ripped to the bone. So it will be really interesting to see what another 4 to 5 weeks of dieting will do to his look here at Van Pro, because he himself said that he thinks that he can bring an even better package and even better conditioning than what we saw at Toronto Pro. So other than Hassan Mostafa, who is the biggest and the heaviest guy in that lineup, all these other guys like Stanimal, Beef Stu, John Jewett, they are quite close in terms of the amount of muscle they carry. I have to say Beef Stu is probably one of the heaviest guy out there, but he isn't big up to a point where he would dwarf these guys. And just because this show and its outcome seems really unpredictable, I think that is going to make it really interesting, because any one of these guys can win this show. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.